All right, excellent. Last time we were together, we were talking about God's existence. And Phil, you raised a question actually that was pretty relevant. You wondered about 6 billion people in the world, lots of different ideas about God. And that leads really well into our next question, which is, don't all religions talk about God, or aren't all religions about God? And it's a pretty common idea that it doesn't really matter what you believe so long as you believe something, because it's all about God anyway. So, what are your thoughts on that? Have you experienced that? Do you feel that way yourself a little bit? Or what kind of questions come to mind when you start thinking about all the religions in the world?
I don't understand something about the denominations. For example, we are Christians, I'm a Christian, but I would like to know, for example, what is the difference between Presbyterians, Baptists, non-denominational churches, and the real name is Christians, but has many ways. I don't know.
That's a great question, Juan, and probably goes way beyond what I can answer in a couple of minutes. Okay, so we've got the branch called Christianity, and then that's just subdivided into all kinds of different ones, and people grieve over that. I agree. I think that's the right response. There should not be all these denominations. Christ Church should be one, and that's how it's supposed to be. So the fracturing of Christianity, not a good thing. However, there's also the reality that God has revealed truth to us. We believe that as Christians, and so we're responsible to make sure we're faithful to that truth. And so the reason we have denominations is because different groups say, this is what the truth is. We need to stick to this truth. And so what the denominations need to be doing, what they should be doing, is having conversations with each other, trying to work these things out. And it's kind of surprising for people to learn that actually all those conversations go on. They happen. People have these kinds of conversations. And so we have two things we're trying to hold on to. One is recognizing the unity the church should have, and then also recognizing the differences, because we don't always see things the same way. This kind of gets back to the whole sin problem. We're broken people. We don't always do things quite the way we should, and that's part of the reasons for it.
But, for example, what happened to the Catholic Church? It's the Catholic Church went to another different way with the other ones. They are Christians, but...
No, Catholic Church is part of that whole group called Christian, too. They're not going to be outside the fold. They belong in. All right. All right. Questions about religions, then? Yeah.
Well, when it comes to a lot of religions in the world, what I personally believe is what a passage comes to mind from the Bible, and when Jesus and his disciples find a man that is healing people in the name of God, and they stopped him, and Jesus said that if he was healing the people in the name of God, don't stop that man, because he's using the name of God. He believes in God. So you know what I mean? When I say in the name of God, I don't mean to bash anybody else that believes in something. I think a belief, a spiritual belief, it's very good. But is that going to get you to God? I do not know.
Okay. All right. No, okay. That's a pretty good question, George. The sense that people have being pulled to God, and you're wondering, isn't that enough? That's a good question. That's a good question. All right.
Okay. If there's all these different religions, and yet God has many different names in different religions, Allah, Buddha, and whatnot. It's kind of, I feel like people. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. I feel like, okay, let's take Muslims. That's obviously a major controversy in the world these days, okay? And, you read about things that happened on 9/11, and they say, Allah told me to do this, and I must, complete this mission so I can go on to the afterlife. Wow, that's pretty heavy. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, And so now you've got people that, if that's supposed to be, Allah is the same God as Christians think of. Now Christians, well, I don't want to believe in that same person. If Allah or God is telling me I need to murder, thousands of people or one person, it makes no difference, to go on to an afterlife, well, then I don't want to believe in that God. And I think that just, complicates things even more. It's like you said, there's all these different denominations, and really it needs to be one common belief, but how do you do that?
Okay. You made a great point. You just talk about, okay, so the Muslims say, well, Allah is God, and the Christians say, well, I know that God is God. Well, there's only one, so it must be the same one. And That's a huge thing we need to address. Is it all the same God that they're all after? It's just these different religions, but there's only one God, so they're all saying different things about the same God. And I'm not sure I would agree with that. But we'll address that here in a minute. Any other questions as you think about this, about all the multiplicity of religions in the world and about how we should think about that? What kind of things come to mind? Linda?
It doesn't make any difference, does it? I mean, it doesn't matter how many religions there are out there. As long as you have faith and believe in God, that should be the main thing.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to believe what the Muslims believe, you know, because I think all that over there is just a downright sin.
Okay.
My own personal belief,
Yeah.
you know. But I think as long as you have faith in God and believe in Him, that's all that really counts. And I could be wrong, you know.
What I hear you saying is, if somebody sincerely believes and has, really believes in that, that should count for something. And so I'm sincere in my belief, they're sincere in their belief, and that's a good thing. And I'm not sure if that's reality either. I don't know if sincerity really counts very much.
Well, no, but there's only one God.
You're right. There's only one God. And there's only one truth. But what do you do when they come into conflict? And that's what we need to address. So, shall we address that? Let's take a look.